this entire family is a disaster. You know, you should be recording this. Yeah, you need to record this. Is your recorder going now? He starts saying all these awful things about me, that I am a Nazi, Gestapo person, I'm malicious.
Was there evidence of some wrongdoing?
Oh, yes. Yes. $40,000 was so blatantly clear.
$40,000 of his mom's money he spent on something that wasn't beneficial to her.
Right. Well, what the hell kind of an investigator are you if you don't even know what account it went into?
Let me stop you right there.
The court doesn't want to hear any negative feedback. I'm reading these minute entries and I'm thinking, why is the judge appointing this person as a conservator when there's evidence of fraudulent behavior and conduct and misuse of the protected person's monies? It's like, oh my God, what do they do? Why am I even doing this job if they're not going to listen to me? He just does not statutorily have the power to mess with his mother's money on a temporary appointment. But that was the judge's, doing, so there's, you can't really argue with that too much. So anyway, I cannot talk to the judge because that's considered ex parte communication. And the court threw me under the bus. See, he didn't do any of that, and he knew what his job was. He knew what he should have done, had he even had the authority to do it, which I say he didn't, but the court didn't take issue with it. I don't think David's any better because he's such a pathological liar, and he's just not a nice person. That was pretty problematic. But by then, I'm out of the case. I asked to be discharged as the investigator on August 11th. Gemma Fenimore asked to be discharged. We wanted nothing further to do with this man. Nothing.
So in the long run, he eventually got conservatorship and guardianship of his mother.
Exactly. Yep, he got it. But the judge is trusting everything he's saying. He's believing every word. The judicial security guard told him, give me your cell phone. I'm deleting these pictures. You have no business and no right taking these photographs, and I'm getting rid of them. You do not have a right to be taking pictures of either one of these people, meaning me and Gemma Fenimore. Take the photo down, but you can leave the malicious website up because that's freedom of speech or some such bullshit. So freedom of speech is all well and good, but my God, don't you have to put the truth in it? Goodness me. I filed my final report, mentioned in my final report that there was $40,000 missing, that when he transferred the money from his mother's two accounts up in Phoenix, he held back $40,000, and it didn't go into the conservatorship account. Instead, he made a check out to himself for $40,000, and then he took that and somehow had a money order made to her in her name for $40,000. Now, keep in mind, she's supposed to be incompetent, which she is. By the way, she is incompetent, but there's varying degrees of incompetency. She's not like totally out of her mind or anything. She came for the interview. She stunk to high heaven. I mean, this woman smelled so bad that I had to sit, several miles away from her at the conference table because she just reeked.
Go
ahead.
You ever order MVD records in this
matter? I did. I ordered up the DMV records on the ownership of his vehicles. And I can do that because of my private investigator's license. Yeah. And I thought, I got to get to the bottom of this guy. Here he is defrauding the court, not paying filing fees, just another reason not to appoint him. So I went down to DMV, found out he had 3 vehicles that he owned free and clear, all in his name. If a guy owns 3 vehicles, how is it that he can't pay filing fees? Yeah, and I didn't see any problem with it at all. I mean, I've done it hundreds of times over the years. This is the first time I've ever done it for a court investigation. I've never had to do it before. He's a sociopath. You know, he has no conscience at all. If your mother or your father does not have sufficient funds to pay my bill, send me a letter of insufficient funds, which I will file with the court along with my bill. So my bill goes directly then to Judge Harrington, who takes care of getting my bill paid by the county.
Okay.
So my bill is paid by the county treasurer at a reduced rate, of course. We do it knowing that we may not get paid, except for what the court authorizes us to be paid by the county. There was a total of 40.2 hours that I spent on this case. Normally, this case would have taken me 10 hours. I'm responsible because I did a bunch of work that was outside of my authority to do. Blah, 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 on with a bunch of crap. So he ran up my huge bill, 40.2 hours. So I had to get permission from Judge Harrington for the additional time. So how much is that? Let's see. If you have 10 hours, and I had 40.2, no, that's not right. What did I just do here? Okay, if I have 10 hours, and that I don't have to have approval for, then I spent 40.2. There was an extra 30.2 hours that I had to get approval from Judge Harrington for, which I did. I have the approval. I have 2 emails approving it.
Fair enough.
Are you still with me?
Fair enough, yeah.
Okay. Now, the judge has complete discretion as to whether he's going to approve my fees. If he asks me, am I willing to compromise my fees, I'm going to say no. My attorney is going to be there, and he's going to handle this a little more diplomatically than I probably would.
I can tell you're a little bit tuned up about it, so.
Yeah, I am. Because everything that comes out of that man's mouth is a fabrication.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, and he probably learned all this behavior from his mother. You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Because these are rules that are unwritten. These are not rules that I go to the Arizona Rules of Court and look up how this matter is supposed to be handled on the payment of my bill.
Yeah.
There's nothing in writing. This is all judicially managed through the probate court. So, yeah. So, you know, if he asks me if I'll compromise, I'm going to tell him no. See, everything that I have in my reports, if you want copies of those, I'm happy to send them to you.
Okay.
I have backed up with physical evidence. I didn't just make accusations.